Greetings to all my well ones, and welcome back to everyone. And thank you for joining me here at Hekima Wellness House Chat. I'm your host, Alicia, and I just want to say thank you for being here with me today. Like, for real, thank you. Because I'm still trying to figure out how I'm even building an audience. But this space is all about real life, real growth, and real conversations. It's just the kind of stuff that helps us feel seen and grounded and just a little more at peace in who we are. And so, wherever you are right now, whether you're driving or what do I normally do when I listen to stuff, cleaning, working, or just taking a moment to yourself, go ahead and take a deep breath and let's talk. So, today we're talking about something that is very close to my heart, and that is, how do I say, accepting who you are and actually loving it. Not just tolerating yourself and your personality, but, and not learning to deal with it and all of that, but truly, appreciating who you are. And listen, this isn't something that just magically happens overnight for everybody. I know this can be work, and depending on your situation, it can take a lot of unlearning and kind of removing years of opinions and projections, and sometimes just straight up nonsense that people have kind of placed on you. And so, if I'm being honest, this is something that for me, I have struggled with at random times throughout my life for a while. And then I have periods in time where I'm comfortable and then somebody shakes it up. And then other times where I'm good and I'm confident. And it's funny because it's especially hard when it comes to my voice, even. So, like, even the way that I talk, sometimes I am always overthinking how I'm saying something, how I sound, and all of that. So, growing up, I kind of had a little bit of insecurity around how I sounded because as a Black woman or a girl, I would hear things like, "Oh, you sound white, and why do you talk like that? And why do you talk so proper?" And it's kind of crazy because as a young Black girl trying to figure yourself out and, just trying to grow up normal, that can really mess you up because now not only are you trying to learn yourself and grow into yourself, but you start to analyze yourself and then you start to question yourself. And then you start to ask questions like, am I talking wrong? Or do I need to change? Am I too much of this or not enough of that? All of those things start running through your head. And I know for me, I kind of found myself at times shrinking just because I would find myself becoming hyper aware of every single time I opened my mouth. And it wasn't just speaking for me, and it became like a performance. And I was adjusting and filtering. And just over time, that kind of thinking, it really makes you feel disconnected from yourself. And then you kind of have to find your way back. And become more comfortable. And you start to ask questions like, who am I really supposed to be? And honestly, that followed me all the way into adulthood. And I played it off because I do that well. A lot of people fake it till you make it kind of thing, but it still randomly will follow me into rooms and conversations and even opportunities. And so I've had to kind of learn to just brush that off and keep it moving and try not to pay attention to it. But little things that are said, they do stick with people and it does become a thing over time. One of the biggest ways that this showed up for me was this very podcast. I delayed starting to do this for a long time. I never really was trying to be like a social media star or anything like that, or what are they, influencers and all of that. That was never my goal. It's funny because it's not because I didn't have anything to say. It's just mostly because, let's be real, I always have something to say. But I was mostly worried about how I would sound and how people would receive what I'm saying and how I sound, and worry about how people would perceive me and all of those things, and just worrying about being judged. And I feel like it's funny because like I said before, I've had periods of time where that wasn't a thing. And then it kind of circles back around. So, when you don't fully accept who you are, a lot of times you delay your purpose. And I'll say that again. when you don't fully accept who you are, you will delay your purpose. And because you're too busy trying to adjust yourself to be digestible for other people. And honestly, you have to keep reminding yourself that that's not your problem. And that can become exhausting. So, like I said, you have to continue to tell yourself that how other people receive you isn't your problem. That's something that they have to figure out. And if I'm not something that people want to digest, then they can change the channel, you know? But somewhere along the way, for me, things did start to shift. I mean, part of that came with age. Over time, when I have my cycles of feeling some kind of way about how I sound. But even with age, there's certain points in your life where you just don't have the energy to keep performing for people. And I think I felt like that at different stages. But I know that I'm there again, where it's like I don't really feel like performing for people. And some of that comes through therapy. There's other times it can come through all interactions that I have with other people. And they'll kind of remind you that your voice is not something to question. And I have to get that reminder every now and then. So I do appreciate that. Your voice is really something to honor because this is how, for me, this is how I communicate. This is how I teach. This is how I connect. This is how I work with people. The truth is, the same voice I once questioned is the exact voice that allows me to pour into other people and to teach folks and to guide people and to inspire people. And so I do feel like, why would I reject the very thing that makes me me? And all the people who know me know that I talk a lot, and like I said, I always have something to say. So my voice is a big part of me. And I guess when I have those moments, that's when it clicks for me that there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with my voice. And there never was. And a lot of times when I have those moments, I just think about the people who did say something to me. And then I think about what they may be or may not be doing and understand that there's something different for all of us. And what I would say to you or anyone who's watching is, and only because I know that I'm not the only one who's felt this way, especially as a Black girl, because that is a common thing. But there's something about you that you've questioned, something about you that you've tried to change, something about you that made you feel like you didn't quite fit in it, that all those feelings could have come from what someone else said to you. I would say that I want you to, I guess, hear this, that one thing that you're struggling with is not your flaw. That thing is what makes you unique. That thing is what is your power. And whether it's your voice or your body, your personality, your energy, your story, whatever it is, you're not designed to blend in with other people. You are designed to be fully, unapologetically yourself. And the moment that you start to fight that is when you start to move away from your purpose. And when you stop fighting that, that's the second when your life starts to kind of flow, and it flows a lot easier, and things feel natural for you, and it just feels a little more aligned. And so I challenge you to think about those things differently if and when someone does say something criticizing anything about you. So today, what I say is I invite you to sit with this question. What is one thing about yourself that you've been struggling to accept? And what would it look like if you chose to just love it instead? Not fix it, but just love it, not hide it, and just appreciate it. Because the truth is, you don't become powerful by becoming someone or something else. You become powerful by tapping into fully being yourself. And I can honestly say that I love what I've grown into, and I can appreciate how I sound and my voice and the way I talk and how I express myself, because this is my voice and it carries my story. And without it, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do and the things that I enjoy doing. And so the funny thing is, people who have said things about my voice and about how I talk, have asked me for help and advice and all of that. And so just remember, don't dim your light, don't shrink, because a lot of times the people that may be criticizing you might need you. And so ultimately, don't let anything that anybody says make you shrink, because you're unique. You're the only one that can be you. And I know that sounds simple, I guess, but is a thing. There's only one you. And a lot of times, you have people who look up to you, who admire you, and it's important to be you simply because there's nobody else that can pull that off. And when people try, they miss, because you're the original. And so you might as well do your thing. So thank you for joining me today for this quick chat. If you are looking for a supportive space or a community, come join us inside the Well Ones community on School. Links in my bio. This is a place where you can truly be yourself. No masks, no pressure, just real people, real growth, and real support. Just trying to be our best selves. So I will see you in the next episode. And until then, keep living well and keep being you. Thank you for joining me. Have a good evening.